Definition of Benami transaction is covered by Prohibition of Benami Transactions Act 1988. Following are classified as Benami transaction or an arrangement, where a property is transferred to, or is held by, a person, and the consideration for such property has been provided, or paid by, another person, and the property is held for the immediate or future benefit, direct or indirect, of the person who has provided the consideration. A transaction or an arrangement in respect of a property carried out or made in a fictitious name. A transaction or an arrangement in respect of a property where the owner of the property is not aware of, or denies knowledge of, such ownership. A transaction or an arrangement in respect of a property where the person providing the consideration is not traceable or is fictitious. Look at the above provisions. There are other questions which arise. Let's look at them. Whether property held by a member of Hugh 4 Carter for other members will qualify as Benami transaction. In such case, the transaction will not qualify as Benami transaction as long as the consideration has been provided or paid out from known source of that individual. Whether property held by trustee, partner, director in its name on behalf of the organization will be called as Benami transaction, as long as the individual is performing in fiduciary capacity for the benefit of other. Such transaction will not called as Benami transaction. Whether investments made by mother or father in the name of child or spouse will be classified as Benami transaction. No such transaction will not qualify as Benami transaction as long as consideration for such property has been provided or paid out of known sources of the individual. Whether property held in sister or brother name by an individual will be classified as Benami transaction, if such property is jointly held and the consideration for such property has been provided or paid out of the known source of the individual, then such transaction will not be classified as Benami transaction. What happens when the purchaser holds the property in part performance of the contract as referred to in Section 53A of Transfer of Property Act? Such transaction will not categorized as Benami transaction provided following conditions are met. Consideration for such property has been provided by the person to whom possession of property has been allowed, but the person who has granted possession thereof continues to hold ownership of such property. Stamp duty on such transaction or arrangement has been paid. The contract has been registered.